Okay, here is a really interesting bike I'm excited to see in person. It's a big bike. It's from ANIIOKI, and this is a long-range e-bike. It's advertised as having a range of over 100 miles using throttle alone. So I'm really excited to see what that means. It's heavy, I'm gonna tell you. It's freaking heavy. Moving this box, I can tell you, it's a heavy bike. But it's got a huge battery, and that's probably why it's got a huge range. So let's go ahead and get it out of the box, take a look at just how big it really is, and then we'll see if this is the king of range for the e-bikes, which I think it will be according to the specs. Let's get it out. Have it together. Man, this bike is big. That's the best way I can put it. Oh man, I think this is the biggest one we've done so far. Look at these big heavy duty dual remote reservoir looking shocks. I don't know if those are real remote reservoirs, but maybe they are. Holy cow. This thing's heavy duty, and it's heavy. I don't know what it weighs exactly, but it feels like it weighs 200 pounds. It's big. Big, 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 big. That's the takeaway here. Look at the size of this whole frame. And I mean, this is a massive battery in here. The big old handle that comes off. Big seat. I got it all the way down. Big disc brakes, hydraulic, front and rear. I don't even know why this thing has pedals, I'll be honest with you. I'll bet you it's just gonna be a miserable thing to pedal. But you shouldn't have to pedal it with this monstrosity of a battery. It takes up the whole bike. I mean, it's huge. I'll get the specs and figure out everything. I'm gonna charge this thing. It's probably gonna take 6 years to charge, and we'll see exactly what this bike is made of, because I'm pretty excited. It's got a lot of really cool features, including keyless on and off, so you don't have to use the key. The key is just to lock the battery in. Carry this with you and you just turn the bike on and off with that. I like these, like, look at this, it's got billet brake master cylinders. I mean, this is a pretty quality bike. It's definitely not cheap by any stretch of the word. So anyway, enough talking. Let's get this thing charged up, get it outside and see what it's all about, because I think I'm gonna be riding this thing for a week to get it to blow the battery. What a monster. All right, so we've got the ANIIOKI all set up, charged up, ready to go. We're gonna take it for a 10-mile ride. This bike is big, I tell you that. And it's got a huge battery, so range anxiety should be at a minimum. Let's go ahead, mount it up, and see what she does. I'm going to go for about a 10-mile ride here. So this is all throttle. I will not be pedaling this monstrosity. So let's see what she does. First test up, acceleration from a dead stop, all throttle. Here we go. You can feel the weight. It's heavy. There's 20 miles per hour. So acceleration is not bad, but it is a pretty big bike. Smooth though. Hey, there's 30 miles per hour, 31, 32. I'm gonna duck in and see if we can get a little more. So we're right at 33, almost 33 miles per hour. There's 33. So we're just touching 33 miles per hour. But hey, I mean, this thing cruises nice. It's a big bike, but this is definitely short rider friendly.
feeling is big. I mean, it feels, it's like a Cadillac. It's like the Cadillac of bicycles. Feels really nice and smooth, real stable too. Definitely a good cruiser bike. I like that. Okay. So GPS says we're optimistic at 33. It's more like 29, 30. As you can see, we've touched 31 on the GPS. So it's about 1 mile an hour to 2 mile an hour off. That's fair. I'm not going to argue with that. So 30 miles per hour GPS is realistic. 31. We saw a peak. Don't complain too much though. 32, 33 on the speedo. It's plenty fast, especially for a bicycle, we're gonna call it, you know? It's a bicycle. It's not a motorcycle, but definitely can get you into some trouble at 30 miles an hour on the sidewalks. So don't do that too often. 20 mile an hour on the sidewalks, which is easily accessible, by the way, if you just put it in level 3. So level 3 gets us right to 20 miles per hour, and you can pin it all you want. Obviously, the faster we go, the more significant our range reduction is going to be, but realistically, I mean, you're not riding this 100 miles. I'll try, but I don't think I'm going to do that. We'll do this 10 miles and see what that gets us on a battery. If the battery indicator doesn't move, that's a great sign. I think that realistically, that's going to be the telltale. We'll see. But I'm just going to keep it pinned for this 10-mile ride, just to see what that gets us. All right, so we're halfway through our trip, and I just want to show you. This is kind of cool. Here's the key. You would obviously carry this on a keychain, but for the sake of demonstration, I'm just going to show it here. You hit the power button once here, which enables the bike, but it's not on until you tap it with this. Like so. As you can see, the bike comes to life, and now we're ready to ride. So we've done our initial, as you can see, we see we've done 6.2 miles. Actually, I think that's a little optimistic. I think we did about 5. But either way, we're odometer showing about 6 miles. We're going to be at 10 miles, over 10 miles at the end of this trip. And we'll see exactly how this battery's looking. So far, so good. Still holding really nicely. So let's get going. All right. Well, we're past 10 miles here, according to the odometer. But I mean, I got to keep going because this battery meter has not even moved. So the range is definitely checking out at this point. So we're going to go ahead and keep on going. I'm going to go until this battery meter moves. I want to see this thing drop at least 1 bar so I can get an idea. 1 bar is out of 5, so that would be a 20% reduction. We'd be able to do some simple math at least to see what the range is going to look like. But let's go ahead and keep on going. I'm going to ride over into the nature preserve and just put some more miles on this thing. So far, I'm loving it. This is a quality bike. Everything about it feels high-end, except maybe the grips. The grips are probably the only thing that I would say would be good to improve on. But everything else feels great. Brakes are awesome. It's got a nice big light on it. The mass is there, you can feel it, but I'll tell you, it's actually pretty nice because it smooths out the ride quite a bit. Anyway, let's keep going. Now we're off-road. We're on a nice little dirt trail. This is in the wildlife preserve, and man, this thing is smooth. I am really enjoying the ride, I will tell you that. Comfortable seat, position is great. You don't really, the weight of this bike doesn't really bother you as long as you don't have to pedal, I'll tell you that. And with no range anxiety, I am just enjoying this ride. I'm just gonna hammer it through this trail. It's beautiful. This is a great ride. I can see the suspension working as it goes over this gravel, and it's not affecting me at all. I mean, this is pretty coarse gravel, and I'm just tearing it up. This is great. Doesn't feel sketchy. Everything feels really good. No weird noises, nothing. Just clean, fast. Go for it. Loving it. Loving it. Man, this thing is just going everywhere. I am at 17 miles and the battery meter still has not moved. So I'm just gonna keep on going. I wanna see that thing come off of 1 bar at the very least. We'll just keep cranking around and enjoying the ride in the meantime. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this little extended ride. I sure as hell am. Okay, we finally got this battery meter to come off of that first bar. So we're at basically over 23 miles, 24 miles almost, which I think is really more, I would say like 21, 22 miles, considering the speedo error, and it had a little bit on it beforehand. So over 20 miles though for the first battery bar. Wow, that's impressive. Well, let's get back to the farm. All right, so we're back 24 miles on this bad boy. First, and I mean, as soon as I stopped, the battery went back to full. So it was only 1 bar down while I was cranking on it, which is insane. This thing is a range monster. I'm gonna say that right now, because this is the first bike, this is the only bike, even out of my bigger ones, my Surons and all the other big bikes that we have, this is the most mileage I've ever put on one in one ride with no indication of loss on the battery, really, or very little loss. Even if it was down 1 bar and stayed there, this still translates to over 100 miles of range. And I was on the throttle the whole time. 30 miles an hour, here and there, a couple of 20-mile-an-hour sections, but 100 miles for sure. For sure, 100 miles on this bike. So they do advertise it as having a 200-mile range, obviously, if you're helping the pedal and if you're riding in a lower power setting. I believe it. First time I'm going to say that. I believe it. This is the mileage king so far on the channel. What an absolute beast. This thing, I'm going to have to put some more miles on it to see, but we did off-road, on-road. You can see it's full of dust. It's covered in dust. It's dirty already. I just rode it everywhere I could today. And I mean, I typically don't ride this long. I don't like riding for 20 miles. It actually hurts my back. This was not that bad. Pretty comfy. So also has a pillion on the back here for a second person if you want to carry someone around, which you totally can do with this kind of battery. You could outfit this thing. I would say this is a great delivery vehicle, commuter. You can go the distance on this thing. You don't have to worry about charging the battery. You can charge it once, go the whole day, 100 miles. I mean, if you're a delivery guy, you know that that's probably in the city. That's a ton of deliveries. And I'll say this too. This is a game changer. As far as the electric bikes go, this is a game changer. And the reason why this is a game changer is because for once, for the very first time, we've rode on an electric bike that I'm confident will have more range on one fill up, we'll call it a fill up, one charge, than, let's say, one of my scooters on one fill. So the scooters typically can go around 70 miles, 75 miles, maybe a little more. on one tank of gas, which is about a gallon of gas. Some of them can go further. Some of them, more efficient ones, can do 100 miles on one gallon or one tank. And the reason I'm comparing it to the scooter is because of the speed. The scooters, completely stock, are doing 30 miles an hour as well. So 30 miles an hour here, 30 miles an hour there. One fill up or one charge of the battery versus one tank of gas. You're actually going to be able to go as far on one charge as one fill up on a typical 100-mile range scooter or further. So that's a game changer. That's the first bike. This is the first bike that we've had on the channel that I can confidently tell you is going to be able to achieve that milestone, and that is a significant departure from the rest of them. Bravo, ANIIOKI. You've made a very cool bike, and it's a very nice ride as well. So my hat's off to you guys on this one. 2 thumbs up, as many thumbs as I got up. If you're interested, not a cheap bike. These are around $2,000, but well worth it in my opinion. The suspension is super beefy. Every component on this, except for the handlebar grips, is high end. Look at this. Look at the detail here. This is like CNC billet brakes, and they're super, super nice. This is nice beefy rotors. These are thicker than a typical bicycle rotor, and the brake looks pretty beefy as well. It's a nice looking design. I would say maybe a little bit bigger brakes just because of the weight of the bike, but it's still fine. Brakes are totally fine. And they do advertise these batteries as having the ability to power some other stuff. I'm not sure exactly what accessories you're going to need for that, but I believe it, especially after that ride. What a beast. Anyway, that's going to do it. If you're interested, check out the link in the description and get yourself one of these bad boys. ANIIOKI. Holy moly. Range monster. See you guys in the next one.